Hello students, welcome back to the next video of Geography Chapter 6, Elements of Weather and Climate. In Module 2, we will understand about winds and its types, humidity, condensation and precipitation. Winds. Students, if I ask you to define wind, then you can say that the moving air is called wind. Air moves in both horizontal and vertical direction. The horizontal movement of the air is called wind and the vertical movement of the air is called air current. Students, air always moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas, and the instrument that is used for recording the direction of wind is called wind vane, and the speed of the wind is measured by an anemometer. We can broadly classify winds into four types: planetary winds, periodic winds, local winds, and variable winds. Planetary winds. These are the winds which blow throughout the year in a particular direction and over a particular region. They are also called prevailing or permanent winds. These winds blow from high pressure area to low pressure area. The main types of winds are the trade winds, the westerlies, and the polar winds. The trade winds blow from the subtropical high pressure belt to equatorial low pressure belt. They are constant in strength and direction, and therefore the name trade, which in Latin is trado, which means constant direction. These winds blowing towards the equator from 30° north from the northeast in the northern hemisphere and from 30° south from the southeast in the southern hemisphere are known as northeast trade winds and southeast trade winds respectively. They are also called the northeast trades and the southeast trades. The prevailing westerlies blows from the subtropical high pressure belts to the subpolar low pressure belts between 30 and 60° north and south. They are not constant in strength and direction. These winds are also known as southwesterlies in the northern hemisphere and northwesterlies in the southern hemisphere based on the direction from which they blow. The polar winds blow from polar high pressure belts to the subpolar low pressure belts. Their direction is variable in the northern hemisphere but more regular in the southern hemisphere. These winds are known as north polar easterlies and the south polar easterlies in the northern and southern hemisphere respectively. Periodic winds. These winds change their direction periodically and they do not blow permanently like planetary or prevailing winds. These winds are caused because of unequal heating and cooling of Earth's surface and difference in atmospheric pressure. Monsoon winds and land and sea breeze are example of periodic winds. Local winds. Local winds arise due to changes in temperature of small area. Most of these winds are seasonal and have local names such as Lu in India, Chinook in North America, and Foehn in Europe. Variable winds. Cyclones and anticyclones are examples of variable winds. Cyclone. When a low pressure area is surrounded from all sides by high pressure area, wind blows towards low pressure area in the center. This causes strong spiral winds which move in anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and clockwise direction in the southern hemisphere. Cyclone brings heavy rainfall and cause a lot of damage to life and property. Anticyclone. Anticyclone is just opposite of cyclone. When a high pressure area is surrounded by low pressure area from all sides, a gentle winds begin to blow out in a spiral motion from the center. Anticyclone move clockwise in the northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Anticyclone brings clear skies and a fine, calm weather. Now, let's understand what is humidity. The amount of water vapor or moisture present in the air is called humidity. Humidity varies from place to place and from time to time. Evaporation is the process which changes liquid to vapor. If the temperature of a place is high, then the rate of evaporation will be more and humidity will be high. And if the temperature of a place is low, then the rate of evaporation will be low, which results in low humidity. Hygrometer is used to measure humidity. Humidity is expressed in terms of absolute or relative humidity. Now let's understand how absolute or relative humidity is measured. Absolute humidity means the actual amount of water vapor in a given volume of air at a given temperature is known as absolute humidity. It is measured in gram per cubic meter. Relative humidity means the ratio between the actual amount of water vapor present in a given volume of air at a given temperature and the maximum amount of water vapor which the same volume of air can hold at the same temperature is known as relative humidity. It is expressed in percentage. Condensation. Condensation is the process in which water vapor in the air changes into liquid form or water. The temperature at which condensation takes place is called dew point. The different forms of condensation are clouds, dew, frost, fog. Clouds. Clouds are a mass of minute droplets of water formed by the condensation of water vapors in the upper atmosphere. When the warm moist air rises, it starts cooling. The water vapor condenses, causing formation of droplets of water. These droplets of water come together and form clouds. There are three types of clouds based on their shape and height. They are cirrus clouds. These clouds look like the bird's feather. They are often known as feathery clouds. They do not bring rainfall. Cumulus clouds. They appear like a cauliflower. They are often white or grayish. They are also the rain-bearing clouds. Stratus clouds. They appear like a thin sheet in the sky. They are whitish and they hardly bring any rainfall. On cool nights during winters, when the earth radiates heat and gets cooler, then the air which comes in contact with the cool ground also becomes cooler and water vapors start condensing over the grasses, trees, leaves, etc., which could be seen in the early morning. This is called dew. Frost. When the temperature falls down to 0 degrees Celsius, the water drops form ice crystals which are known as frost. Fog. Fog is formed by the condensation that takes place on the dust particles floating near the Earth's surface. It can be seen during the peak winter seasons. Now, we will discuss about the precipitation process. Precipitation is the process under which the condensed water vapors fall on the ground in various forms, such as rain, snow, sleet, and hail. Rainfall is the falling down of moisture from the atmosphere in the form of liquid water drops. The instrument which is used to measure rainfall is called a rain gauge. There are three ways in which rainfall occurs: convectional rainfall, orographic rainfall, and cyclonic rainfall. Convectional rainfall. In regions closer to the equator, the rate of evaporation is very high. As the sun heats the ground, the air above it gets heated and starts rising in the form of convection currents. As air rises, it expands and cools. The cooling causes condensation, which result in heavy downpour. These clouds cause heavy rainfall by thunder and lightning. This convectional rainfall is experienced in equatorial region. Relief or orographic rainfall. Sometimes moisture-bearing winds are forced to rise because of presence of physical barrier. Such winds expand and cool as they rise up the slope of the mountain or plateau, and on further cooling form clouds. When saturated, these clouds give rain. This rain is called relief rain because it is caused by relief feature coming in the way of the wind. The side of the relief feature that faces the moisture-bearing winds is called windward side. This is the side that receives most of the rainfall. The other or the opposite side is called the leeward side, which receives very little rainfall as the wind descends and get warm. This leeward side is often called the rain shadow region. Cyclonic rainfall. Cyclonic rainfall is caused when warm and cold air masses meet at a front. As cold air is denser, it remains close to the ground while the warm air rises above it. As it rises, it expands and cools, resulting in rainfall. This type of cyclonic rainfall is mostly seen in the tropical and temperate region.